Cool. And we're live, cuzzo. Hit them with that intro.
Welcome back to the Electors Podcast. This is episode 7. Today we got a good episode for you guys. It's March, so you know what that means. It's springtime. With the spring comes new beginnings.
Yes, sir.
Flowers, as they say, April showers bring May flowers.
Right.
So, this episode we want to talk to you guys about planting seeds. And at some point during the year, you want to try to plant as many seeds as you can, and we believe this is the best time to do that. So whether that's wanting to start a new business, wanting to read a new book, wanting to start, I don't know, even in a new exercise routine or anything within that realm, we suggest that you start it now, because now is a good time to do it. One of the gentlemen that we brought up on the show a multitude of times is by the name of Jim Ron. He always says it's better to plant in the spring than to be begging in the fall. So,
yep, that is true.
You agree
man.
with that?
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Yeah, like reading his book, the 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness. It talks a lot about that. I mean, we talked about it on last year's episode.
Yep.
And I think everything still applies, man. I think there's nothing new. It's everything is simple, and it's boring, but
right.
doing the same things that create success is what it's all about. I mean, it's like sports or anything.
Right. Yeah. It's effective. Speaking of sports, you bring up sports, man. Right now, the March Madden tournament is going on.
Yeah.
Between the men and the women, right?
Yep.
I personally feel like, and I'm sure you feel the same way, but the women's side is just as competitive. It's just as entertaining as the men's, basketball this year. If not more. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Last year, I really tuned in to the women's tournament and was highly impressed and entertained with the good basketball that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of female hoopers, man. I think having a daughter that plays introduced me to that whole world because I spent most of my time this last tournament watching the girl games.
Yeah.
I didn't even turn on the boys games. I tried to catch a little bit of the Duke game, but I only caught the highlights. I caught some a little bit of North Carolina, but everything else was just the women's side.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I mean, female hoopers are just more. They're getting more skilled, as time goes on.
Yeah,
and you got Juju Watkins, Caitlin Clark shooting that thing.
Yeah,
Angel Reese.
Yeah,
I think I know more names in
the women's side than you do the men's side.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite female player right now at the moment in college?
So if we're going off of like skill and the way she plays, Juju Watkins is the real deal.
Now she's from USC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. She's man. She's a dog.
She's just ahead of her time.
She is
ahead. But that shout out Phil Handy. She works with Phil.
Yep.
And she got everything in her bag, man. Yep. Like you can't even. There is nothing you can do with her.
No.
Now, as far as excitement, I mean, it's hands down Caitlin Clark. I mean, I've had a little bit of this conversation with a couple people, and I think she might go down as the greatest female basketball player ever.
Wow.
Like, there's Mike on one side, and there's going to be Caitlin Clark on the other.
Wow.
That's my prediction.
Statement. Yeah, that's a big statement. I mean, she's definitely on that trajectory.
Yeah.
When I first heard about her, it was like anything, right? It was almost like the same thing with Steph Curry when we first heard about him at Davidson, right? They have this amazing college run. Right. They're putting up points, they're putting up numbers, but you want to know more than anything, can they translate their game now to the next level?
Yeah.
Steph was able to do it. We'll see if Caitlin will be able to do it.
Yeah.
Everything, all her skill set shows that she should and could and will do it not very easily, but she'll definitely be able to make that transition. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what she'll do at the next level.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of my prediction, man. But the March Madness is great, and we'll see who ends up coming out on top.
For sure. Yeah. I know you said you haven't watched some of the men's side, man, but the men's side, though, what I've taken away from it, and a couple of things that we bring up on the podcast about, like mindset, leadership, courage, confidence, right?
Yeah.
Watching these young men at these early parts of in those late teens, early 20s, go out here and compete as a unit, and just to see the different levels there are in D1. right? You have your lower level D1s that do make it through the cracks.
Yeah.
You have some bracket busters.
Right.
You have some upsets.
Right.
But as the further the tournament goes on,
yeah,
the big name schools are there for a reason.
Right.
You know,
you
your
got the best
Dukes,
talent. Yeah.
your UConns, North Carolina.
Right.
Michigan State got beat by North Carolina, but usually Michigan State
Michigan
is
State's
up
usually in
there.
there.
Arizona, Kentucky. Kentucky got beat, which I wanted to bring something up, man. I wanted to bring this by you and see what you thought. But there was a young man on Oakland that shot, I think he shot 10 threes to help them beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he mentioned after in his post-conference interview was that he's fully aware that he's not talented enough to play at the NBA.
Right.
But in a collegiate setting, he has enough belief in himself and in his shot to win and compete against anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Do you believe as anyone, but whether it be sports or in the business world, that confidence is necessary in order to succeed?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, he is the example, because if you think about what he said, he literally, every kid's hope and dream, right, that plays ball is to make it to NBA.
Right.
He realizes that dream is not going to happen.
Right.
But regardless, it don't even matter. Because I'm still going to come out and play and give it everything I got.
Yeah.
And I think that just, like, a lot of kids who've maybe seen heard him say that, I mean, you got to take that away, because even though it might not happen, and then when it comes to terms that it's not going to happen, you can't just give up and be like, all right, well, my dream's over. I'm done.
Right. Yeah, because he could have easily went in there with the mindset of, we're playing Kentucky. One of the top 5 teams in the entire nation.
Right.
You know, we don't even stand a chance.
Right.
Nah.
You gotta stay. It's like 50 said. You gotta have a heart of a hustler, man.
Yeah.
Like that guy for Oakland is he's gonna be a problem. Like, if you don't shut him down, he's coming. He's not gonna stop until the last buzzer rings. So, and I think everybody's got to be like that, man, with whatever it is.
Whatever they do. Yeah.
You got to have that confidence, man, that you can do it. Because if not, I mean, you're already behind the 8 ball.
I agree. Now, do you believe that confidence translates to aggressiveness?
Yeah. Because because the only way you're going to be aggressive is if you're confident.
Right.
Because you have to be willing to fail if you're aggressive.
Because he took 23s.
Right.
I don't even know if he shot any
layups he might not,
two-pointers or anything like that. But he took 23s, which even at the NBA level, Steph doesn't shoot 23s in a game.
No. I mean, Caitlin shoots about 18 or 19, I think. Threes a game.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
I mean, shooters shoot.
True.
Shooters shoot.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, you need to have some type of confidence, man, to be aggressive in anything, whether it's sports or even barbering. I mean, if you want to have a bunch of clients, you got to be pretty aggressive.
True.
But you got to also be confident in your skills.
For sure.
Otherwise, you ain't gonna want to go get clients.
For sure.
You know, so
for sure.
I think it translates to everything, man. I think that's why the younger kids need it early on, like right away.
For sure.
You know,
for sure.
But
do you think that what is just one way, right, with your daughters, right, that you teach confidence?
I teach them not to worry about mistakes. All right, so like there's certain things that are going to happen in life and in sport. We'll just use sports for example. For basketball, we'll just use that. There's certain things in the game that happen regardless.
Yep.
So if we know that going into the game, then why are we going to worry about it when it happens? Because now you're only going to beat yourself up about it, right? So then now it hurts your confidence. But if you already know that's going to happen, you know you might airball, you know you're going to get a foul, you know you're going to turn it over, that's all part of the game. So just like in life, there's certain things that are going to happen.
Right.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
And when it does happen, if you let it, control you, then you're kind of screwed for the the rest of the way. So that's what I do. We don't dwell on the mistakes, so whatever it is, because otherwise, And then when they do make one, I don't beat them up about it because it's not the end of the world. It's just
right.
Just a mistake.
That's a great point.
Now, if it's something serious, obviously that's different. But
yeah, you got to address it.
But they're able to. I think kids are able to distinguish what's serious and what's not.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're making a big deal about something, I think the kids know, like, you're tripping.
For sure.
You know? So
For sure.
Yeah. What about you, man? You think it's needed, or you think somebody can just do it without it?
No, you definitely need confidence. I think confidence is also built over repetition, right? So it's, making those mistakes over and over and over again to the point where, yes, you become callous to it.
Right.
Where, it doesn't bother you. I know in my industry, cutting hair, made 1,000 mistakes.
Right.
Cutting the hair too short, not using the right guard, or, being too heavy-handed. I mean, there's so many different things that I've had to fine-tune over the years in order to provide a better service.
Right.
But yeah, and I had to share the story with you. I had a walk-in that came in last Friday, and it was her first time coming to me. And she had just gotten her haircut from another barbershop. And she was just a little unhappy with the way that her hair was cut. And she's African American, right? And that is one of my specialties, is dealing with African American hair, or African hair in general,
right?
Because I'm used to I have coarse curly hair that does what it wants sometimes. So when she came in, she didn't have an appointment. She had found me on Instagram. She'd been following me for a while, and she said, "Hey, I just wanted to come in and introduce myself and just see if you could maybe squeeze me in, just to make my cut look a little bit more feminine." That was the word that she used. She just felt like it was too masculine, if you will, right? She had a short cut. Yeah. And so I looked at my schedule, man, and I'm looking at her hair. I'm doing all this in real time, right? While I'm cutting up my customer, and I'm saying to myself, could I do it? I've done these haircuts 1,000 times on men, but how many times have I done them on women?
Right.
So I said to myself, yeah, I'm confident enough in my skills to say, yeah, I can do it. So I told her, I said, hey, come back at 2:30 and I'll see what I can do. She comes back, she sits down. I'm really taking a look at her head shape, all of these, the hair shape, the different textures. She's letting me know how it grows, all of this stuff. Right. I do the haircut and I put a design in it because she asked for she just wanted it to pop. She had been dealing with a couple different health issues and some alopecia and stuff like that. So she's like most women, they care about their hair. Your hair is a part of you.
Right.
It's a part of your appearance. It's a part of your style, your character, all of that.
Right.
So when I showed her the mirror, she was really, really, really happy. And in that moment, just me sitting there having the confidence of knowing, like, yeah, I could pull this off. It felt good. It felt really good. But I couldn't have done that haircut without confidence in my skills.
Right.
Right. It in the beginning, it seemed a little intimidating. Yeah. Because I don't normally cut a lot of women's hair. Yeah. But I said, hey, you know what? I could do it.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I mean, I think that's like we're getting into the spring, and for people that are struggling with confidence, I think you haven't put in enough reps in, like you said, with whatever it is, if you're in corporate America or whatever the case is, but you just got to get more reps in. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when you take the springtime to do that, and start fine tuning everything. So by the end of the year, you should be somewhere different. Right. Should definitely be somewhere different.
Right. I know you had mentioned earlier too, man, that you recently had got a hold of 50 Cent's book. Yeah. Hustle Smarter, Hustle Harder. Yeah. And so far, what have you taken away from that book in regards to, with it being spring, right, starting new, and just wanting to implement some of the things that he talks about in that book?
Yeah, so I mean, the book is great, man. So shout out 50 for that, because it is, and I'm getting the Audible, so it's like he's talking to me. Right, yeah. It's like, that's my boy now, let me tell 50, what's up, man? Yeah. But so he talks about a lot of things, man, that some of the things that I take away is like, he talked about he never misses a workout. He doesn't drink alcohol. Yeah. And if he does, he said it's not like where he's not going to be able to wake up the next day and not get his workout in. Yep. I thought that was pretty huge. Yep. When he talked about the heart of a hustler and the things that the street taught him, I'm like, the question I had was, how do I put the street into my kids? Because it is a valid point that he made. You get certain things that you get out in the street that we did growing up outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you were hustling, whatever, you were selling CDs or whatever the case may be, you know, you do learn things from there that school can't teach you.
Right.
So I was like thinking to myself, I was like, man, a lot of the stuff that I have, like the street knowledge that I have, the street smarts, whatever, my kids don't have that right now.
Right.
And when I was listening to him, he's like, there's other ways to develop like instinct.
Right.
But yeah, that was like a big takeaway that I took from it. So I was like, man, what could I do to start implementing some type of street knowledge to them?
Yeah.
You know, obviously the world is different now,
right.
but
right.
You know, it almost seems more dangerous now. But
well, yeah, and also too, I think, you know, having daughters and having sons, it's a little more difficult to do,
right?
But it can be done.
Yeah.
Because I know, like in my dad's situation, like that was something my dad was big on because he didn't have the schooling education.
Yeah.
He couldn't push us in that direction because he had never really went down it himself.
Right.
But the street smart portion of it, I remember him taking us to different places.
Yeah.
In different areas around the city of Aurora that were considered some of the badder parts of Aurora, just, you know, where you weren't going to see, you know, you weren't going to see people jogging down the street with their baby strollers.
It wasn't River North.
No.
Or Naperville.
No. And it wasn't like these were the worst parts either, you know, but my dad always said that he wanted us to see how people really move.
Right.
You know, and how they really think.
Yeah.
He would even let people, which is crazy to think back, but you know how there's always like someone that's asking for money?
Yeah.
Hey, man, you got a couple dollars? Hey, man, you got it. And he would take us around people like that.
Yeah.
And these were grown men that were asking us, kids at 14, 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you guys got a couple dollars? Man, I'm just, you know, trying to give me something to eat. And some of those people were just taking advantage of the situation, right? They were taking advantage because they see a good-hearted kid,
right? Who,
hey, you know, he looks like he's got some decent clothes on. What's $5-10 to this kid? He'll be all right. His dad or his mom will, get it to him. I'm just trying to get my hit or my high, you know, whatever it is, you know. And he would let things happen so that we could learn and observe,
right?
And now that I'm older, I realize those were valuables. Those were values that and lessons that I didn't get at college, but I'm thankful that I got. Because now when you're around people that you feel like only want something out of you,
right,
for their own personal gain and their own personal benefit,
right,
you can catch it a lot quicker,
right?
You know,
yeah.
And just establish that line to say, okay, well, if this is who this person really is, well, then I can only associate myself with this person in the lines of business,
right?
I can't let my guard down around this person in any other way, shape, or form.
Right.
You know, which is fine. But so I think I think with your daughters, it'll be a little bit more difficult to teach them that and to say like, hey, you know, come with me. Come, I want to show you these different parts in these different places.
Right. Know? Yeah. Yeah. So that, you know, I took that part. What was the first chapter was Fearlessness.
Yes.
What was the full chapter name? I forgot the full chapter.
I believe it was Finding Fearlessness.
Something along that lines.
I got you. Yes, Finding Fearlessness.
Finding Fearlessness. You know, just kind of, you know, he talks about obviously how everybody knows the story about 50, he got shot and all this other stuff. But kind of just facing the fears of anything, you know, like whatever the case may be. And I thought it was perfect for like, you know, how we're talking about spring, you know, kind of really seeing what these fears are, like what are my fears right now, and you know, kind of really like laying them out, so that I can, you know, kind of attack them this year and see where it puts me next year.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I've taken a lot away from, you know, I'm getting to the third chapter of, you know, constructing your crew. Yeah. Which is, I think I haven't gotten all the way into it, but I think it's going to be good. You know, I think it's going to be good.
It is. Honestly, the book just keeps getting better and better. And I don't want to ruin it for you.
Yeah.
But I can stay right where you're at, though, with chapter 2, because in chapter 2, when he talks about finding fearlessness, he talked about how he went to the boxing gym. Yeah. Right? And his mentor at the time, his boxing coach, said, hey, get in the ring. You know, you're going to do a light sparring session, and we're going to see what you got.
Yeah.
And he learned very quickly the fear of going in there thinking that you're not going to get hit is pointless.
Right.
You're going to get hit.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing with life. You are going to go through things that are going to catch you on the chin. You're going to get hit. You're going to get punched by life.
Right.
But it's learning how to take, which full circle, which reminds us of that scene from Rocky.
Yeah.
You know, where Sylvester Stallone's telling his son, you know, like, hey, it's not about how hard you can get hit, but it's about how hard you can continue to get hit and keep getting up.
Right.
You know? And 50, obviously, in that chapter was breaking that down. Like, he learned how to take a punch.
Yeah.
Learning how to take a punch
Yeah.
is an art within itself.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it hurts, it stings, your eye, like you said, your eyes water.
Exactly.
And I was like, man, I remember those. Like, I remember when I would get hit. You know, and I always thought I could box, but I was like, man, this dude across from me, man, he might
take
give
my
me
head
that
off.
business. Yeah.
And
you know, but like once you survive it, then it's like, oh.
And then you know what ends up happening after you learn how to take a punch? It builds confidence.
Right.
Because now you're not afraid to get hit.
Right.
Right. Now you're not afraid to. And to 50's point, where it's been so beneficial for him is that he goes into boardrooms now, with meetings of CEOs, executives. And he's not afraid at all because he knows on the inside they haven't been through a tenth of what I've been through out in the quote unquote jungle.
Right.
How could they make me feel uncomfortable? Right. So he leverages that in business. Yeah. Which, in my opinion, is brilliant. It's genius. You know, and like, you know, shout out to Bone, but Bone's kind of doing that same thing in his own way. He's learning how to leverage his position, his experience, his life experiences in a way that results in a positive outcome. Right. You know?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, that's true. Cause like, and then, you know, 50 also, when he talks about in the book is like, he did the reps, you know, so that's why when he goes in there, not only does he have the fearlessness, cause he's everything that's happened to him. So he's like, you know, I ain't worried about it, but he's also understands the game that he's playing with everybody else. Right. You know, and I think that's what Bone's doing it like that too. You know, he's, you know, like when we talked to him, I was like, man, this dude is confident in the game, like that he's playing. Yep. You know, like, so, yeah, man, that's what I've been taking away from it, man. And, and I think, you know, like this spring, that's probably the book that I'll probably implement for the rest of the year. For sure. Because I did read, I told you I was reading the other books, but some of them didn't have anything I could apply to this year. Yeah. And 50's book has some things that I want to like implement in. For sure. So yeah. So that's probably gonna be my spring seed planting is something from that book. Nice. Or multiple things from that book. Nice. Yeah. I think we'll have to continue to discuss it, man, because I think you're really gonna like the middle part, and then you're gonna like the way that it ends. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to get through it, man. So but what do you got for the spring then, man? What is
so right now my main focus, man, is I have a wedding coming up later on in the year. Yeah. Right. So, and last year I wanted to get back on my workout routine. Right. Get back into really good shape because a few years ago I was the best shape of my life. Yeah. So this today actually marks day one of from now until the wedding. I got 5 months. Yeah. To really push myself. Yeah. To really get back into that rhythm, that routine of working out at least 3 to 4 times a week. Yeah. Eating properly. Getting a good amount of sleep, just becoming more disciplined as a whole. Because what I do remember is that when I was on top of my diet and my exercise, everything else in my life fell into place. Yeah, because
you were feeding your body.
Right, so. right. Getting good amounts of sleep, stuff like that. I mean, now, I think about it and it's like, man, I catch myself sometimes doing research or wanting to look at something or listening to an audiobook or a podcast. And hey, man, it's 11:30. It's 12 o'clock at night. I got to go to bed, And then I look up, it's 12:45. Damn, I should have went to bed sooner, and it just kind of getting trapped into that hamster wheel of, it started off as just one weekend. One weekend turned into a week. Yeah. A week turns into a month turns into 3. And now you find yourself in this loop.
Yeah, that's true, man.
But yeah, for me, that'll be my new spring beginning.
Back in shape.
Yes, sir. That along with just picking up a few more audiobooks. I'm learning right now because of my job that it's easier for me to listen to the audiobooks while I'm at work than it is for me to read the physical copies when I'm at home.
Oh,
just
yeah.
because of time constraints.
Well, and everything that goes on at home.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
You try to find 10 minutes to read at home is crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. And like quiet too, because I don't know about you, I can't read if the TV's on.
Man, my house is a jungle, bro. It's a jungle.
So where do you go to read?
Multiple TVs, screaming, dogs.
See, yeah, man.
There ain't no reading over there.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, man.
So,
that's what I'm saying.
So, but it's
you go in the
good.
basement and just find a corner.
Right. Then they follow me to the basement. Yeah. So I mean, it's cool, man. Those are the moments you got to enjoy because
for sure.
Because those don't last forever. One day the house will be quiet, and I will miss the noise.
Yeah, that's true.
So I learned that, man. Like I used to be like, damn, it's so loud in here, but I'm like, man, one day, I'm just gonna be like, dude, it's fucking quiet in here.
That's very well
I'm
said.
bored. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need somebody to come jump and piss me off. Agitate me. I need somebody to do
You're gonna call your kids. Hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? Hey, come over and piss me off.
Yeah, come over here, man. Get me frustrated.
Just like old times.
Yeah. So, but that's good, man. That's good. So I mean, so to end this episode, as we come towards the end, just really for everybody out there, really figure out what your really define the goals for this year, or maybe it's continuation from next year, and then I think really lay it out and attack it this spring.
Yep. Yeah, and be realistic. Like we always talk about on this podcast. I mean, you set goals for yourself, but you're not going to hit every single one of them every single time. Right. So it may take you a year, it may take you 2 years, it may take you 3, it may take you 5, depending on what the goal is.
Right.
The main thing is just to keep chipping away at it.
Right.
That's all.
Yep. That's all you can really do, man. It's like Jim Rohn says, man, it's the spring is where you take advantage. So if you get presented with the opportunity of anything, I think you have to take advantage to see where that door leads.
Yep.
Wherever it may be. Because the worst, like Megan said, the worst thing that could happen is you end up back to where you started. So, and if you're straight where you're at, then I mean, it's, there's no loss there.
Yep. I agree, man. I agree. Well, thank you guys as always for watching and listening. We'll catch you guys on episode 8, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Peace.